getting my second cardio session in, had breakfast, did my leg day, did my first hour fasted, going to get my second hour in here on my bike, right? If I do the full hour, I'll try, I'll see how I feel. Might need a bathroom break or something, you never know. We can always split it up and do more than one. A quick reminder though, if you guys will hit like, it'd be greatly appreciated if you'll comment under this video after the fact, even if you catch it not live. Also a reminder, guys, I have coaching slots open, also consultations, and I'll discuss that with people in here. I'm gonna try to push those. That does work, getting people in here. That'd be a good goal, man. If I could manage to get a live every day to turn into a consultation, we'd be rocking and rolling. I've gotten quite a few of them though out of these. You know, people ask certain questions. I'm like, look, dude, let's get in a consultation. This is not live stream answerable. Like, if you really need real programming help with your workouts, we need to go there. But we also got to keep the nonsense low. I'm gonna get better about that so that I don't get riled up by anybody. I'm just gonna get rid of nonsense. As soon as someone comes in promoting some silly carnivore or something, we just get rid of them. But then we got that whole sugar diet nonsense going too, don't we? Oh man, we already lost the first like. We had one that disappeared, then it came back. That's always weird. We'll see who we get. It's about 1 o'clock here for me, so this is a little later, but it's okay. I'm making good headway on all my work. Like I said, this might take a minute to get anybody in here, so I'll just pedal chat with you guys, check my other. So that's the other perk of doing me here. I can bust out my other phone and check some stuff while I wait on you guys. All right, so we don't have to be completely tied up only with the screen here. I can multitask. I can doom scroll, as they often call it. Not really doom scrolling because it's my business, right? Right, it's business for me. All my social media is all really about my job. I get some crazy scammers though in my DMs. Anytime you have any outreach at all, you're gonna get inboxes just full of scammers. It's fascinating. All right, we're getting more people in here. Hit that like and let's get some questions going. In the meantime, guys, you guys know what I'm doing. Coach is gonna lean out. I need to cut, so we're doing 2+ hours of list cardio a day. Yeah, the bike is on a pretty hard setting actually, and particularly on a leg day. Pedaling the bike is not fun after training legs. Even though it's been a few hours, I did an hour of fasted brisk walking after. Yeah, definitely notice the quads. Definitely notice the quads on leg day on the bike. It is not painful, but it's noticeably, there's a slight, I would describe it as a slight discomfort would be the way to word it. Right. I just saw your comment there. Dean, if you hop into this one too, the ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi. That's what we got to have conversations about, you know, causation versus correlation. You know, it's like we can go do something, stuff that we test all the time, right? You know, and I get that in the comments. I had one of those conversations in the last stream, you know, where someone had said, well, I do this with time under tension. I'm like, this has been tested. It doesn't do anything. They're like, well, what do you mean it worked for me? I'm like, well, no, lifting weights work for you. Right? So, Big Daddy, what's going on, Dreadful Nick? Hit that like button for me. What's up with you, Nick? So, I'll actually just be more aerodynamic. I don't need to be aerodynamic, Bubba. Bubba Smith. Bubba. Avatar. Oh, Lord. Never wax. Yeah, waxing hurts, man. I just nair it off when I want it off. I mean, that's what I do from my arms and legs and everything. Right now, I'm just letting the chest hair grow. Right. What's the best workout for shaping the chest? I mean, anything that builds the whole chest, dude. Different barbell presses, weighted diffs, dumbbell presses. Do you know Mark Ripito? Like, do we hang out? Or do you asking me, am I intimately familiar with his work and his books? Those are two different questions. So what do you define know? Or do you mean know him in the biblical sense? Right? I've never met him in person. I'm obviously intimately familiar with his work. Jason Sam Hyde said recently that Athlete Next shouldn't be trusted as a coach. because you can train with his no neck and weak-looking physique despite. I have my own. I don't even get into that. Look, Athlete X has a bunch of silly, trendy nonsense. He always has. Some of his stuff is good. Some of it's bad. I don't know anything about his actual coaching abilities or not. None of that's relevant to, really what his coaching ability is. I've seen nothing good or bad to really say if he is a good coach or not. Right? Jason, you think a lifter could do belt squats, GHRs, reverse hypers, sleds, hip thrusts, good mornings, and get strong off of those? Sure. Isn't that what a lot of us do? I mean, you listed a bunch of really good standard powerlifting and strength sport lifts. Yeah, of course you can get strong off them. What do you think of his workout? Both. Man, I'm going to sound like a broken record. Starting strength's a mandatory read. It's decent for the novice lifters. Do not extrapolate it beyond your first 6 months in the gym. In fact, everyone who follows starting strength, including people I know and who are friends with, if they follow it beyond 6 months, they stay a novice the rest of their life. They will never become an advanced lifter. This has been my experience. People who follow their protocols from starting strength, including their other later stuff, basically fall short of becoming advanced lifters even at the 5-year mark, 6-year mark. Mark, and I will quote Mark, "We don't train elite strength athletes. We train novices. We're narrow casting. 90% of the world are novices in the gym." Okay? So if you're a novice, his stuff is useful. If you're a novice, you can throw it in the trash dumpster and walk away and never look at it again. Make sense? If you're a novice, it works great. He is a phenomenal at writing programs and teaching novices. That is his specialty. That is what he admits. That's all he does. Because when strength athletes critique his squat technique, they're like, the squat you teach is complete garbage. You will never see an elite strength athlete anywhere in the world do what he does with the head. And his response, we don't coach elite strength athletes. We coach novices. So you go on to people like me, you go on to other people, you go on to Louis Simmons, you go on to more advanced programming, Bubba. I mean, I have free programs here. I have put out tons of videos on how to break down programs. I also am a full-time coach. So this is where I pimp my services, Bubba. So you don't know where to go after you run out of the novice stuff. You are literally talking to a coach who offers that service. So your options there, since you're talking to someone. So you just asked a car salesman, hey, my car is getting old. Do you have a solution? You just walked into the dealership lot and you said, hey, my car is getting really old and beat up. I don't think it's going to work much longer. I got a solution for you. You just asked this of the car salesman. Well, I'm a full-time coach. I offer coaching services online as my full-time job. This is my actual profession. You hire me to coach you, problem solved. Or if you can't afford coaching, I do one-off consultation calls for 1 hour so you hit me up on Facebook where I will map out a 12-week program for you. It's $100 an hour for my time for that. I do it a lot, those sort of programs. Most guys at the gym I see regularly are novices and maybe intermediates at best outside of the bench press, which is fair. Right? Totally fair, Jay, and that's why he has a point. Most people are novices. So he's got a point. The problem is that when people extrapolate it as it's going to be value to them forever, it's going to be valuable your first 6 months. You want to know what I see? The guys who try to keep following it never reach a 400 squat. Love from Bangladesh. Yeah, I don't run political stuff here, guys. My bench is beyond poverty, but I still chin up. Total weight, 120 kilograms for 5, pretty good. So Paul, work on the bench. City Sexy Man's greetings from Venezuela. Greetings to you. Get those likes up, guys. We got all these comments. We got 2 likes. Hit them like buttons, Jason. All right? Brother, my cousin Carrie turned me onto your channel. I started getting in shape because you. Shout out to my cousin, please. what's her last name? Carrie Kaverja, is it that last name? All right, I'll give her a shout out. Carrie Kaverja, I'll give you a shout out there. Hopefully that didn't turn into anything weird. I didn't see anything phonetic. And a lot of times when people actually do these shout outs, they're throwing a racial slur in there sometimes. It happens a lot. But I think we're good. So shout out to your cousin Carrie. Jason, someone who squats 500 and gets 20,000 steps a day have a higher TD than someone the same weight who squats 200? Probably, Joe. Almost guaranteed they do. Way more muscle mass. You probably have long arms. You're naturally good at pulling. Yes, and pushing is a disadvantage. He's probably right. Paul, he's right. Long ape index. I mean, I've got a long ape index. You have to build your chest and triceps. You got to put a lot of time into that. Awesome. Hit that like button, guys. There's like 8 of you, 9 of you leaving comments. We only got 3 likes. Hit that like button for Daddy. Come on now. Paul, Jay, Joe, Smo, all of you. But Joe, as to that point, common sense. It takes way more leg muscle to squat 500 than it does 200. I mean, we're talking 5 tiers difference. So if that person with the 500 squat at the same body weight burns more calories sleeping than the person with 200. They burn more calories sleeping. Now you start talking about doing 20,000 steps. The difference between the two could literally be 1,000 calories. What variables or traits are at play that give someone the better genetics of building muscle? It's definitely not the T levels. Just stop with the testosterone. Guys, testosterone in the normal range barely matters for muscle growth. If you're not shooting it, stop worrying about it. It's not going to be like 10 pounds difference in muscle in your life. It's not that much. It's a couple pounds. So the genetically superior, crazy high testosterone guy going to build 2 more muscles than the guy on the soy boy over his whole life. Quit worrying about T levels if you're not getting it from a syringe. It's not going to impact that much. So you're looking at fast twitch fibers, one of the bigger ones. How many total muscle fibers you were born with? Literally, how many muscle fibers were you born with? That's a factor. That's a big factor for the long term. So those are pretty high on the list. Overall, the difference for a drug-free person is not going to be as big as you think it is from person to person. It's not going to be 20 pounds of muscle difference. Let's put it that way. So again, we're talking someone who seriously sucks at building muscle if they're given perfect programming and effort, say for 15 years straight, versus the truly genetically gifted freak at the same height, same bone structure. But if they both train correctly, keep in mind, most people blame their bad training. They blame their genetics. It's not going to be like 20 pounds. It could be 5, it could be 7. In the most extreme cases, maybe 9 or 10 pounds of muscle difference between the freak versus the bottom end. But that's about it. But it is there. I've seen guys that just can't gain. I even know a guy who known a year and still didn't gain. You're still around. It's been a fan for a very long time, since the 2012 era. Awesome. Appreciate it, Alex. I was still around, dude. I make videos 7 days a week, every single day on YouTube and Facebook. Every single day. All right? All day, every day. Every day, all day. Androgen and sensitivity. No, I don't think that's what it is. I think they got bunk gear. Because I've never found anybody you can't eventually put muscle on. So these guys, they train lazy, they don't eat. It's been my experience. Or they do the stupid crazy bulk and then cut down. I've seen that over and over. It's usually they just don't train hard enough. My idea of hard, not their idea of hard. Jason, why is neck training improving my deadlift and front squat? Better lockout potential. Yeah, probably more likely, Jason, you're right. I've been watching it a long time. They're just lazy. Fake gear used to be really common. I mean, depending upon the reputable sources, no known brand wants to get caught giving out fake gear anymore. That's a whole different experience. Rock versus, I don't know the context. So could you tell me what sport you're talking about alone? I don't know who these people are. Unless we're talking about the Rock, Dwayne Johnson. That's the only Rock. Kid Rock, Chris Rock. Who are we talking about? Now you probably know I'm actually not trolling you. I really have no idea who you're talking about. These skateboarders, these boxers, who are they? Jason, do you think, I'm going to go with Rock just because he's got a cooler name, but I know nothing about whatever sport this is. Do you think weighted dips and pullovers is enough for the pecs? Why do you guys always ask is enough? Are you going to do 2 lifts the rest of your life? This is a bad mindset. In some phases, would that be enough to see really good growth? In some phases, absolutely. Will I ever advocate you only do 2 exercises for a muscle the rest of your life and never do anything else and say that's enough to maximize it? No. You're going to notice you're going to get the same answer no matter what muscle you ask me and what 2 lifts, by the way. Those can get a lot done, though. Those are really good exercises. You're hitting the pecs from 2 different angles, hitting the triceps from 2 different angles, you know? So, Jay, why are you getting shoulder issues bench pressing? So, see, this is where we come over to the real question. The first one's not the real question. The real question is, hey, Jason, how can I stop getting shoulder issues from bench pressing? My shoulders remind you of Harley Davidson handlebars, so that's kind of a strange. Hey, man, whatever floats your boat. Never floats your boat home, skillet. Brosip, Brosidon, king of the Broshin, Broski, Broham, Brohamalas. That's my favorite one of all the bro ones, is Brosidon, king of the Broshin. Long arms and I have a job where my shoulders are worked a lot. Okay. Fair enough. Still, you could clean up your bench technique. A lot of times people are going for minimalism. They are, but they need to understand this. Is it enough? Well, we needed to find enough. Bromine nitrate, right? Like, I always hate that question. Is it enough? Enough for what? Because if you're going to ask me, is it enough to get 100% of possible muscle growth? I'm probably going to tell you no. What a silly ass question. See what I mean? So what do we mean by enough? Is it enough to see some muscle growth? Yes. It doesn't take much for me to get irritation in my shoulders from bench and overhead pressing, shoulder raises, etc. Okay, fair. So, I mean, you could work full range of motion dips. You could do pullovers, and that'll definitely build a pretty good chest. But, you know, the word enough is what's throwing me off with your question. Does that make sense? Because that's a very ambiguous term. Well, what does that mean? You need to tell me what enough means. What are you defining as enough? Jay, you might have scapula problems. Yeah, you could. Off late, I'm taking creatine, ashwagandha, and it's helping. I think the ashwagandha thing is silly, personally. Bunch of goofball-ass herbs. By the way, I'm not a fan of any sort of herbal supplement or whatever, and I've gone into long, ridiculous diatribes on why. I think the entire idea of trying to get a drug-like effect from herbs is just silly. Just use drugs. I literally that are standardized, so you'll know you'll get the same amount every time. I literally just do chin-ups, dips, and various types of rows, pullovers, biceps, delts, rotator cuff. Okay. I mean, so you still never told me what you mean by enough, though, Jay. I went in a whole diatribe here about, could you tell me what you mean by enough? Because if it just means gains, well, we didn't even need the pullovers. I mean, dips will grow your chest. Will dips and pullovers give you together more gains? A little bit. Will it give you every possible last drop? Probably not. It's only 2 exercises over the grand scheme of time, you know. Radiant strength. I did 2 days ago, 10 rounds of 15 second curve, treadmill, sprinting, post a deadlift session. Now my hamstrings are cooked. Well, sometimes sprinting will do that, especially after deadlifts. My hamstring workouts are pretty tough. What would be the best natural testosterone booster? Testosterone cypionate in a syringe is the best test booster. There are no natural test boosters that work. The idea is ludicrous. Again, as I've broken down in detailed videos, why it's really an absurd idea. Talk about something that will, one, never work. 2, talk about something that will produce probably worse side effects than just taking drugs if it ever actually works. Come on. It's a silly idea. If you want more testosterone, this is why God invented the syringe and testosterone cypionate. He reached down from heaven and created them. That's my favorite test booster, personally. It's what I use. But the idea of a natural one is just silly for a host of reasons. Think about how bad the side effects are on pharmaceutical test boosters, not testosterone, but it's a reason we all just inject tests. Just saying. It's a lot less side effects. It's a lot smoother. Hey Jay, I'm not going to have good answers for that I can discuss in a stream because I'll be promoting violence and shooting people. So I can't give you any advice on that one. Sorry, you need to talk to the police. So, okay, problem solved. Because you already know how to deal with a stalker. Come on. The thing goes scraw, pop, 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 right? Man's not hot. All right, big up, Coach. Drop a like if you have. Not, that's right, Peppermint. Tell him to drop them likes. Is chili dogs a good bulk meal? It's a good meal for bulking up your fat gut and bulking up the fat around your heart and making you die. Why are you eating shit like that? This is a fitness channel. Why are we talking about chili dogs? You trying to be fit? Or are you trying to die of a heart attack? Damn, man. I lived in chili dogs. Martial arts will not defend you. Martial arts is a nice, fun hobby, but it's not real self-defense. People carry weapons. All right, you like basketball? Not really. I've never been a basketball fan. I don't even like playing it. Jason, do you think I should progressively overload my wife? You should progressively overload everything. Well, Jay, we see overweight people in the gym lifting all the time. So what? Could have been a heavy pack. Now, of course, you guys know I'm not a big fan of the heavier powerlifting classes, even as a competitor. Who you got tonight? OKC or Wolves? I don't know what that means. All right. What are we talking about? The foosball? That their foosball? Bobby Boucher. Over there playing that foosball. I'm not a big team sports guy, by the way. Oh, I don't think I've ever watched an NBA game in my life, to be fair. Coach, I keep seeing people use Smith machines, and I have the heart to tell them that the free barbell is better. Let them do their thing. They're in the gym. I say it on my channel. I say it on my social media, but I'm not going to go interrupt someone's workout to tell them that. Jason, what's your resting heart rate in the morning? I don't know. Something. I've never bothered to test it. I know people hate those answers. Jason, what's your heart rate get between your cardio? I don't know, about whatever it is right now. You've been doing a lot of cardio, so I figured it was low. I mean, I used to do a lot more. But I'm also like 220 right now, so it's not going to be super low. As I cut leaner, it will tend to go down, though. As I strip down, if you ever take steroids. You just ask a guy who, when you see all of his powerlifting records he puts up, they say untested division, who freely admits, just told you he uses test SIP in the video, who has a 27 fat-free fat mass index. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb. Yeah, exactly. Peppermint says plug coach's numbers into a fat-free mass index calculator and see if the fat-free mass index calculator spits out, because they all have a built-in red flag, steroids. It's going to say, there's a 99.8% chance this guy is on steroids when you plug them into one of those calculators. Although Minnows said there was only a 97% chance I was on steroids when we plugged him into his. And he does have a PhD. So Alex, I'm going to answer that and say, no, dude, all natural, bro. All right, I'm going to take 1 month off BJJ training and focus on cardio, burpees, jumping, hill swings, juggernaut method, powerlifting. Would it be good? Maybe. It depends on how much if you enjoy your BJJ, why take time off from it then? Jason, how do pro athletes pass drug testing that is supposedly done? Hey, Jay, that would be 15 different discussions for every single sport. Each sport has different testing protocols. Each sport has different loops for people to get out of it. Football has the best ones, actually, because they don't want anybody drug-free in the NFL. They'll lose all their billions of dollars. They need mutants up there. They need superhumans. So they've given them amazing loopholes while still telling the public, we run for a dog and pony show. It's really hilarious. What would you say for the Olympics? I'm not familiar with the current testing protocol, so I don't have answers. I used to have a lot more info, but protocols have changed. Yet people keep getting faster and stronger, which means they're using better and better drugs in spite of the stricter and stricter testing. A lot of it is as simple as knowing what the current testing is. What drugs can they detect? How long can they detect them? Can you time injections based around when they're likely to test you? Do you use any of the, when you're talking pro sports, though, we're not dealing with the stuff down at the amateur level. You just hire people. You guys remember when Balco Labs got busted for that? And Victor Conte did that interview and said he had over 10,000 professional athletes. Keeping in mind, he went to federal prison for running a steroid ring, selling drugs, making custom drugs in his lab that were undetectable. He went to federal, he was convicted of this, which means it was working. And he said, and I quote, there's at least 10 other doctors and labs out there doing the same thing I am that have not been popped. So maybe it's not me you need to ask, you need to go contact the people who run these labs for the different ones and find out what they're doing. What made you change your opinion? Hey, Chad, I'm kind of tired of answering that one. I've made like 10 videos on it already, 20 videos. It's not like a particularly new position. You know what I mean, dude? I feel like a broken record. Can I give you the cliff notes? There is zero evidence scientifically that a calorie surplus helps you gain muscle, really. What am I supposed to say? There's like no evidence that it does anything. Unless you're so lean that you can't recomp. We have literal studies showing that a 50-calorie surplus doesn't cause any less muscle growth than a 300 or 400, but way, way, way less fat. Like, this is what the studies keep showing over and over. And we've seen studies for 20 years showing athletes, even advanced athletes, recomping in 12 weeks in studies. Like 50 of them at this point. So there's a point where you just got to go, what are we doing? Right? I mean, so there's your cliff notes without me going into extreme detail like I have in the past. That we can sum it up with that. Are you against? I'm not against steroids for any reason. I'm against steroids for anyone under the age of 21. I don't think anyone under the age of 21 should use them unless their doctor specifically thinks they need it for life-saving purposes. Yeah, I think honestly for people, if you're going to bulk, slow lean bulk, like small bulks, like 10 pounds tops. Um, like 10 pounds in a year. Coach, do you still think people should build their strength base before going on gear? I think so, with the exception of if someone steps up and says, my life goal is to be a pro bodybuilder. And I know I'm going to die young. I'm willing to shave 30 years off my life. It's my dream. I'm willing to die for it. That person should probably start their first day. Like if someone steps up, they're new to the gym, but they have said in their mind that they know that that is their entire life dream, is to be on the Mr. Olympia stage, and they don't care if they die 30 years younger, 40 years younger for it. That would be my exception to the rule. The sooner they start, the better. Right. Jason, do you think being below 5'8" is it? Hey, Paul, that's a stupid ass question. All right, sorry, but why would we even ask something like that? This is a fitness channel. Are you against running or moving fast? No. So many guys at the gym use steroids now. It's always been that way. In my generation, this was me. I said this, and then Lobeliner, who completely independently got up and he said, yeah, Blaha's right. We don't even get along. He got up and said, Blaha's right, and he told his story that was identical to mine. Our generation, you dudes got made fun of if you went on gear before you, and including even the bodybuilders. If you couldn't bench 300, squat 400, deadlift 500 before you did a cycle, you got made fun of. Like you were clowned for it at the gym. That was what our generation was like. Coconut oil or beef tallow, garbage. Both of them will kill you. Why would you eat either one of that shit? They're refined saturated fats. Do you want to die? Okay. No, I think coconut oil and beef tallow are both junk food, objectively. All right, what made you personally choose to not run or do anything that involves fast movement? What makes you think I don't do anything that involves fast movement? I choose not to run. I've made it again, Chad. So I'll let someone else answer it. Hey, Peppermint, you're in all my streams. You were in here earlier. Type out for him the answer why Coach doesn't run. How to get rid of big stretch marks. Your guess is as good as mine, dude. I was 320 pounds when I started. When I was fat and started running, I took up distance running to lose over 100 pounds over 25 years ago. And I have stretch marks bigger than your mom. So when you figure out the answer to that one, let me know. Cheese is scrumptious. I agree with that. I was just saying with all the available GH. Yeah, hey, Paul, I think you're off on a strange tangent there. As somebody who only cares about weight class, should they care much about minimizing muscle size like going from? No, you need to maximize muscle even in a weight class, just get leaner. I must have missed the vlogs where you move fast. I mean, you didn't see me do sled pushes and stuff. You didn't see me do speed work, dynamic effort work against bands and chains. What are you talking about? No, I choose to do list cardio right now. It's better for fat burning, easy on recovery, doesn't beat my joints up. Right? It's very straightforward. In short, I'm a 48-year-old guy who squats 500 pounds. I don't want to beat my knees up running. It's a very, very straightforward answer. I used to run. I was a very avid runner. I lost over 100 pounds running when I was much, much younger, again, over 25 years ago. I used to run every morning. No way I'm doing it at 48 at my body weight and what I squat. Pass, hard pass. I'll do list cardio all day. Okay. A lot of running is tough on the joints, yeah. And that's the point, you know. Now, if you enjoy running and you can balance it, by all means. For me, it's going to conflict with my overall goals. And I'm not anti-running, let me be clear. So let me state that. I'm not against running. I coach marathon runners. I got no problem with running. It is not for me in my current situation and goals. It would not be a good choice. So I'm not opposed. It's not like a moral, I think running is bad. You know? It's just potentially a conflict and counterproductive with my goals, particularly if I want to stay pain-free. You know, I want to minimize my pain levels and quality of life while still doing what I do. I mean, we're going to get some aches and pains. I'll be moving some heavy weight. I started taking NAC 500 milligrams. I think I can breathe deeper now. NAC does have some possible benefits. I always like sprinting up hills as fast as possible, half mile, but never enjoyed long distance running. I'd rather go hiking, so yeah. Just going to see you get to 99%, might be a bit lean. I don't know if I'm going to go that low. I'm going to just lean out. Let's see where I get. I'm not going to set goals. I'm just going to focus on the doing. And let's just lean out. Seems more like a slow and get. It takes lots of breaks and doesn't push it hard. Lift heavy, really heavy. Not necessarily. I mean, I've done pretty intense training. But we should take long breaks on your lifting. That's what the research shows if you want to get big. Right, Chad? What's all the data show? You need 3-minute breaks between your sets. All my upper body stuff, though, this week I've been supersetting it. Between opposing groups, like bench press and weighted pull-ups, bench press and weighted pull-ups. Dean says, I know, right, the reference from earlier. People not understanding correlation versus causation. How much lifts do you do per week? I try to get a minimum of 2 hours a day right now. So that's a minimum of 14 hours a week. We're obviously going to go a little over that. Jason, I'm convinced with enough. I get lost drugs and your TDE getting up enough. I mean, but I'm not using any fat loss drugs. So that's kind of the thing. I would rather not use fat loss drugs. I mean, little tests should be enough. But that's the thing, all these guys, they use all these cutting agents to get lean, and it's like, it tells you how unsustainable what they're doing is. You know, if they need Clen T3 and to eat nicotine gum, come on guys, what are you doing? Maybe you're trying to get leaner than you can really get. And then they're going to promote that to their audience. Oh, you can get this lean too with Clen T3 and nicotine gum. It's like, are you serious? Virgin HIIT versus Chad Country cruising the wall. Yeah, I'm not a fan of HIIT cardio unless you have sport-specific reasons for it. Ted, is this the real Ted or a fake? Because last time I asked one in here who was, I think, a fake, I told him, message me to let me know that you in the stream and Messenger since Ted is my client, and he didn't. So I got to question if this is a fake Ted dropping in here now. All right. The questions we got to ask. My nephew wants to try lifting comp. What is the least you can lift and still have a count? The empty bar. No, you can lift the empty bar. This is way better, easy to recover from. It doesn't interfere with actual training, and that's the point, Jay. Jason, what purely upper body movement has the most carryover to the back squat? Purely upper body movement? Purely upper body. Any type of row, maybe. I could argue pull-ups, but I'm going to lean more in the direction of maybe a really strict row. That upper shelf matters. Please note you said purely upper body movement. As someone who only cares about weight class, should we care how much about maintaining muscle? Yes, you should absolutely care about muscle mass in your weight class. It's going to equal better performance. It's always better to lose fat and have more muscle. All right? You want as much muscle as possible in your weight class, almost in any sport. But you should probably specify the sport. Cool, I'm thinking more about scouting out a remote meet, or is there less competition for him? Yeah, Chad, but you don't try to scout like that. Just go have him compete. That's an empty victory to walk in and get a gold medal because you're the only one in the class. It's a very empty victory. So I've done it, but it's because I'm going for state records. So it had nothing to do with me scouting out meets. I just went to like one of the meets did that at. People are like, you scouted. It's like I went to the Texas State Championship with no idea who was going to be there. But I looked at those records and said, dude, I can knock those records down on my openers. This would be so easy. I'm just going to walk in and take the state records, do a water cut and take them. But yeah, I was the only 90 kilo masters too at the state championship of like 150 lifters. But so yeah, it was automatic gold. But I was there to get state records. But those are kind of empty sometimes. But I mean, just have him go to a meet, Chad. Just have him do a meet, dude. Just get on the platform, get his feet wet. Just pick one and just go. Don't worry about that. Jason, I started using SSB on squats, and good morning. It felt really weird, but in a good way. It's like it activates muscles in the back that aren't hit. Yeah, there's truth to that. How do you do a water cut for beginners? I'm not going to teach you how to do a water cut in a live stream. You're going to have to hire me for your meet prep if you want to do water cuts. I am not giving you the protocols for free. And outside of my care, you're going to get hurt. Jason, my fat loss has skyrocketed, but I did 23 pounds for that second state meet. The one where when I put up the picture, everyone's like, dude, you look like a bodybuilder shredded. I did 23 pounds in 48 hours. So I went from like 220 down to 197 in 2 days. My Facebook, it's linked under every single video. Do not go to my profile. I won't get the message for 2 weeks. It'll go to my spam folder. I have a big fitness page named Jason Blaha. There's a link underneath every single video on my links. Go there. Send me a DM. Jason, my fat loss has skyrocketed from getting 20,000 steps in a day is insane. Really good cardio for the lifters because it doesn't increase appetite. Yeah. Dude, just straight up lists like that. It works wonders. It burns fat calories predominantly. It's easy on recovery, but it takes time. But it's good for you. It's also just good for your overall heart. Jason, you think GMs off a change or pins is more intense on the lower back or just slightly? It's just a different variation. Treasure sent me crowns. Awesome. Facebook is crazy. Yeah, Facebook's all right. Here you got top viewers have inspired you in recent years. None of them. I don't even watch. So wait a minute. Hold on. YouTubers, are we talking fitness specific? I like postmodern jukebox. I like music reaction videos. I like Marty's music. I don't watch any fitness YouTubers. They're trash dumps their information. They're mostly scam artists. I don't watch it anymore. Do you think overhead press off pins is good? It can have its place, actually. I've done it. I've done overhead pressing off pins on camera for maxes and reps. I think it can be a useful exercise. It has its place. Right? I think it definitely has its place. Would you rather watch it? I'd rather watch your mama grow. In my field, I pay close attention to the top performance industry. Sounds like it's not a... YouTube is just not my biggest niche anymore, honestly. Alex, could you be specific? I don't understand your question. Please ask it a different way. The ruling? Like, has he been arrested? Do we have like a court verdict? What are you looking for? What's a good standard of the overhead press for an average weight? I don't know. Go look at strength chart. There's whole charts on it. Michael Brent says, look and swole. There are whole strength and conditioning standards charts based on body weight. No, we don't ever use body weight ratios, so why would you say equal to your body weight? So half Thor is weak, is what you're saying. Weak ass piece of shit. his max strict overhead press was slightly less than his body weight. So he's weak, right? That's what you're saying? We don't use that in strength sports. That's a cope that really short guys use. A tall guy, someone says, yeah, exactly. Hey, Alex. All right, I know who he is. All right, I'm going to say this as politely as possible because you clearly didn't get it. I must do it one time without insulting you. All right? Can we get a ruling on person X? Okay, fine. What is a ruling? Are you looking for a verdict from a judge? What are you looking for? Re-ask your question in a coherent manner. Thor could bench like mid 500 weighing over 400. Exactly. He weighed 430 and he can only street press 405. That's less than his body weight. But if we use body weight as the standard, then he was weak. Do you see why it's silly? Because I only throw a little guitar stuff up every now and then, Chad. What opinion are you looking for? Do I think he's a piece of shit? Like, what? We already know that I think that. All right. Hey, Chad, I'm noticing a trend in your comments, by the way. Jason, I hit a 176 times 5 overbreast. Do you think my one of could be 200? Probably pretty close. Jason, you should get a dark tan. Shave head looks really good when you're tan. That's very lean. I'm not very lean yet, though. All right. I mean, Alex is pretty clear. I obviously do not like the guy. I mean, come on. Do we really need to hash this out again? You're like, hey, Jason, what do you think about a guy who made 25 hours of crazy-ass lies about you that made people stalk you? Well, my reply is I think he's just a swell guy. Even though he literally fabricated like 500 crazy-ass lies about me, not even remotely based on reality. Alrighty. The people will leave. I think he needs to be in a mental hospital for his weird obsession with me, honestly. And I think he needs a bath. He looks nasty and dirty. I think Brian Shaw was similar bench press with 500s. I really didn't know. So, yeah. But I'd really rather not discuss it any further. I feel like we don't need to. As you've gotten older, to what extent do you find it takes longer to recover? Do you want an exact percentage, or want us to just say, yeah, it takes a little longer to recover? Never said he was weak. Never mentioned his relative strength. Right, which is why multipliers are not used in relative strength. So, Paul, that was my point. Nobody uses multipliers or based on your body weight, like a multiplier of it, so times one body weight. Nobody uses that in strength sports for a reason. He's obviously horrible at fitness advice. What are you talking about? So, Alex, I guess you need to go. You can keep asking about a guy who I don't want to talk about. Bye. I feel like Larry Wheels has great relative strength for a big guy. Just might be a silly question, but do lying hamstring curls work the glutes? Very little. Just how much strength difference does it make for strength athletes being obese? Depends on the lift. Depends entirely on the lift. Yep, they're all roaded to the hills. What's the point? HIIT is very sport-specific, high injury risk, and CNS fatigue. Many coaches push 5-minute rounds. That's what you need. Yeah, I agree. So HIIT cardio really is for sport specificity for the most part. And if you have a sport that specifically benefits from it, it's very wise to use it. But you use it tailored to your specific sport. For general fitness, I'm just not a fan. If you were a bit younger, was you interested in competing in the World Strongest Man? No. Why would you think I would be built for that? I'm 5'9". That means 0 chance of winning. All right. How much Ulysses add to the bench press? We don't know. It's going to add something. So your question, yeah, the strongman competitors, they need to be fat for what they do. Yes, they need the body weight. All right. Do you think there will be any more innovations in anabolics over the next 20 years if we maxed out? There's no need. They already do exactly. The only other thing they would look for is can they reduce side effects slightly. That's it. They haven't. The technology hasn't improved in the last 20 years. The best drugs were already developed that are still preferred by the FDA, still preferred for all anabolic reasons, have existed more than 20 years. Newer stuff never makes the cut. What does that tell you? We're probably not going to do much there. The way we were maxed out, Joe. If someone is really strong and powerful and built up for a strong aerobic base, as long as what? Can the log press be good for hypertrophy? Sure. He was talking about medical steroids. I didn't assume it meant anything to do with bodybuilding. He talked about steroids. He didn't say all PEDs. He didn't say growth drugs. He was very specific. At this time, the medical community, by and large, feels that we only need testosterone and androgen. They seem to fill all the roles. They're not interested in developing new stuff. Not really. There's very little interest in it. Transcription. What textual improvements do you expect to see in sports science over the next few decades? I have no idea. I don't think anybody can predict that. I don't think anybody can predict that. If another Cold War happened, do you predict there would be another rapid increase in sports science and drug development? Maybe. Hey, Diddy, I don't discuss my personal life like that. Do you have any regrets from that? Hey, Hans, I'm not going to get into all that. Do most of Chinese Jews get the same benefits as farmer grade? It seems to be, Chad. That seems to be the general consensus at this point. As long as it has a low enough dim. So you're not getting any extra boof. All right. Just one reason you're seeing certain freaks in bodybuilding, like a lot of the drugs have gotten so cheap. What's your legume consumption like? I eat natural peanut butter. Yeah. Clarence Kennedy claims he squatted 600 pounds and added 200. Is it possible? I don't know. Right. You guys seem awfully convinced when Clarence Kennedy claims natural. I have no problem with Clarence's knowledge, his information, his training methods. Claiming natty is, I'm going to call BS. How old is bro? Who's bro? If you mean me, I'm 48. Let's see. If the elbow's tucked from the false grip, that makes me stronger than joint stacking. What do you mean? You can tuck elbows with joint stacking. Clarence is quite literally biomechanically built for squatting, but he's been roiding for a while. Yeah, I agree. What about Sawyer claiming natty with 900 pounds at 23? I don't know, man. Do you believe that? Come on, guys. It's not that these guys are not great lifters. It's just, come on, chill with the silly natty claims. Some of us were not born yesterday. What's your current heart rate, sir? I don't know. You forgot to tell me greetings from India. Sam Saluk will be the next Dallas McCarver. I don't know about that. He's not as big as Dallas. He's still going to die young, though. He really abused himself early. Hey, Diddy, what is that? You're on a fitness channel. Are you interested in coaching or any of that? Then hit me up. I'm not joining you in any fun, dude. Come on. I'm gonna give you one more warning. This is a fitness channel. All right. Are you cutting for health reasons or aesthetics? Both. That's what I mean, Jason. Pass you on. Yeah, but McCarver died at like 27, guys. That's so when you say the next Alex McCarver, I'm thinking we don't make it to 30. So he doesn't claim anything. He just doesn't put his stack on Instagram. Okay, fair enough. I haven't kept up with anything with NH. Can we just drop it? I'm not even making videos on it. Jason, why are white guys so good at deadlifting in general? Mm-hmm. Jason, Dallas McCarver stuff is wild. Yep. I predicted his death 6 months ahead of time too. I literally made a death prediction video, and I'm not saying I was happy about it, but I called him and Piana both less than a year. Shredded. Are you a fan of lentils? I don't really care for lentils, no. There's nothing wrong with them, I just don't like them so much. I wish more taxing on the nervous system, heavy deadlifts or heavy squats. Neither. Cali muscles, heart attack. You talking about? I remember that. Yep. No, I'm not invested in any corporations. I don't know that I would invest in any fitness-related companies at this point, to be fair. Jason, do you still like beltless paw squats? Yeah, I think they're good. No, I think that they can be a valuable supplemental lift, big time. Jason, Chinese guy. Okay, thoughts on Boston Lloyd? He died young from abusing himself. You look like Stan Efferding. I don't know about that. Must be on very modest amounts of years to be. I agree. I always said that Mike is not a heavy abuser. Mike is just very conservative, consistent user for decades who trains really smart. So program dips even know that. Yeah, I still do, Chad. It was kind of a freak thing. I do kind of know what happened there. But I just think people need to be cautious with them is the main thing. Never going to sell creatine. I don't have a supplement line. No interest in having a supplement line. Come on, guys. We're going to wind this down here soon. Thoughts on Leonidas pull-ups? I don't think. He doesn't get to name his own lifts. How long did you do the pull-ups every day? I don't remember how long. Like if I gave you a number, I'd be lying. I forgot how many weeks I did it. It's been years now. Is that fair? I don't know. I did it for X number of weeks, however many that happened to be. Jason, have you ever noticed Michael Hearn has very short arms for his height? I didn't notice that. He might. I agree. I mean, Mike's a con man selling scam products, lies about his gear use, but his training is immaculate. Like his training knowledge is so on point. Are you doing cardio? Just get rid of that. All right. But all of that being said, like you can level those things against Mike, but you have to admit he is super dialed in, 100% dialed in. All right. Looks phenomenal. He's super strong, still in his 50s. You can't hate on that part. Do you think, Vanny? No, I don't think it has at all, Sam. In fact, I'll get rid of you in a minute for even asking. Sir, can you show us your surroundings? Sir. Okay. Chill out, dude. Love this guy. Let me ask you. Seriously, are you on TRT? Why would I cut down to TRT? Do you think I want to be natty size? All right. Do you feel super energetic every day, coach? No. I'm 48. I'm doing 2 hours of cardio a day. All right. What about Mike's reverse grip bench press? What about them? I don't understand your question. They're really strong. I'm not sure what you're asking me. Are you asking me, are they impressive? Yes. There you go. There's your answer. No, I'm a big fan of TRT, Jason. And one day, I'll trim for the. No, I do TRT sometimes, anyways, but sometimes I run more. Very pathetic for no reason. Here you go. I'll help you. All right. Is Texas a healthy state in the U.S.? No. OJC, it's not a set amount. Whatever I feel like, and then if I feel blood pressure stuff's going up, I'll go back. All right, guys, we just reached the 2 hour mark, or the 1 hour mark for this, and the first one was over an hour. So we've had over 2 hours of cardio today. I love you guys. I'll talk to you next time.